it's Zadie, you're watching Flytte Kartina, where I rate movies, I do movie reviews. Not very successfully, as you can see by my subscriber count in comparison to many other more famous YouTubers. But here I am anyways, and I'm going to be reviewing the movie Aquaman. This is probably one of my last movie reviews of this year, 2018. Finally stop writing 8s. I hate writing 8s. Like, it's just the bane of my But I might do a year-end video, and that'll be fun. Maybe. We'll see how that goes. So, I enjoy things differently than other people enjoy things. I usually come out of movies and I'm like, that was great. And then I hear critics like, that was horrible. And I'm just like, should I change my perspective or anything? And then sometimes my perspective changes, but sometimes it doesn't. So Aquaman in general, my general view of it was that my expectations were mediocre, and that is what I got, but just a little bit above, like half a step above mediocre. But if this is your first time watching me, welcome to Flytte Kartina, welcome to the family. This is the channel full of angst and I would say spoiler rants, but I haven't been doing many of those since Infinity War came out, and that just kind of scarred me for the rest of the year. But what we're gonna do, if you're new here, is the first part of this video is going to be pretty like factual stuff. The last part is gonna be stuff like my opinions on the movie and what I thought of the movie, and if you value my opinion, I'd recommend you that you watch till the end of this. So I'm just gonna be giving you guys an explanation of the rating of the movie and why that is. Okay, so this rating is taken from the IMDb website, and the MPAA rated Aquaman PG-13 for sequences of sci-fi violence and action, and for some language. Sci-fi violence and action. This is kind of a thing that just always comes along with a superhero movie of any sort. But as you can see in the trailers for Aquaman, there are going to be intense sequences of sci-fi action and violence, and it's not super gory or anything. So the action and violence isn't super horrible. There is one instance where I know that somebody gets impaled through the chest. There's a huge war scene. There's a couple of like perilous scenes where, as you can see in the trailers, that you know, they're like swimming away rapidly from some really weird creatures. The second part is for some language, and this I didn't really... Again, it's PG-13. They can't really do very much with PG-13 movies as much as they can do with R. I'd say that the language is really mild on this movie in particular, because I just didn't notice other than a couple of words. There are some things that the MPAA does not include in this rating of the movie, which I will include for you guys. Arthur and Mara are both romantically involved. They're actually married in the comics, so you'll see a couple of romantic moments between the two of them. They actually kiss in a very long 10-second scene, I think. Another thing that the MPAA didn't mention were the creatures that are involved in this movie. A couple of creatures who are like not... They're furries, basically. I don't know what the actual term is, but they're like fish people, and then there are crab people, and then there are like, it's kind of weird. On the frequency chart, I'm gonna rate this movie on a scale of 1 to 10 on how frequent the elements that I just described to you guys are, and I'm gonna say it's pretty low, and the creatures do make an impact on it, but it's because it's a part of a movie that I'm not gonna make it very high. For the rating of Aquaman, I'm going to make it a 4. It's closer to a 3, but it's a 4. Aquaman in general is just a fun movie. If your tiny 5-year-old can handle something like Lord of the Rings, he's probably fine in this movie. Lastly, for this first part of the video, I'm gonna pull out my magical scale of movies, which I rate a movie on a scale of Steamboat Willie to Deadpool on how appropriate this movie is for younger audiences mostly. But for Aquaman, I'm gonna rate it Night at the Museum, which means it's not like horrible, and it is kind of meant for kids, but you don't have to take your children there because of things that are in it that you might not want your children to see. It to each his own. The elements in the rating of Night at the Museum are very similar to what happens in Aquaman. So this is my next part of the video, where I'm going to give you guys just a non-spoiler portion on why I liked it or why I didn't like this movie. I love that on IMDb, the plot keywords under their description is the first words that pop up are bare-chested male. Alright, first thing I'm gonna talk about is the plot. I need a structure for these things that are swimming around in my brain, because I just can't like organize them all when they're just floating. I need to like grab a topic and pull it down and be like, okay, this is what I'm gonna talk about for about 30 seconds. The plot of this movie is okay, it's decent. Like, there's a lot of different stuff pulled together to make this entire movie. So the plot of this movie is surrounding this one guy, but sometimes looks like it's surrounding other people too. If I could sum up this movie was basically like, it's like the ocean. It just moves wherever it wants to move, and like, you know, you just gotta roll with it because it's not gonna take you anywhere else but where it wants to go. This plot has its ups and downs. The pacing is kind of weird. It's a 2.5-hour movie. The pacing is a little bit off. What I would do to fix the plot, as great as these scenes were, I would take out pretty much all the parts that had to do with Black Manta. Even though those scenes were fantastic. Actually, there's one scene that's pretty useless where it's basically a montage of him getting his suit ready, and I'm just like, he's not the main character though, why are you doing that? Anyways, Black Manta had kind of a Darth Vader vibe in some cases, but I'm not going into that. So next I'm going to talk about characters. Jason Momoa plays a very good Aquaman in my book. I think he does a really great job at it. I was kind of like hesitant to see him, especially in Justice League, and I'm just like, he's only there for comedic relief. Is this actually how they're going to spin his character? You can tell that he's just having fun on camera. Like, you're just watching him and you're like, oh, he's having a great time. He doesn't mind that he has to take this like 20 different times. Mera, I was not disappointed by. In my trailer reaction, I see Mera and you're kind of looking at me like, and I'm just kind of looking at her like, she's gonna mess everything up because she's the love interest that's gonna be two-dimensional. But she wasn't. She was actually had a little bit of depth of character and had some interesting points to make. Sometimes it was like kind of weird, because mostly between the romantic scenes between her and Arthur. But other than that, it was pretty good. I think Black Manta was done beautifully, his character arc and everything. It was just wonderfully set up. Everything about him was really cool. All of the costuming, by the way, all of it. I'm going off topic from characters, but costuming is really great. Like, you have all of these characters in their traditional comic book costumes. Now that I've covered the two main points, I'm gonna go a little bit into the CGI and the graphics that they used. At some points, it was great. I saw the trailer and there's this one scene where I was like, that is a horrible rendering of CGI. Like, this is unfinished. This is gonna be CGI heavy, and how could it not be? These guys are underwater, breathing underwater. Overall, the CGI wasn't horrible. It wasn't horribly distracting, but you know, it was there. It's a thing. It's something that you have to have in a movie like this. Some scenes were like all CGI and I couldn't, like, it's so interesting to watch, but at the same time it's painful. But in conclusion, I actually enjoyed this movie. I didn't think it was going to be super great, and it wasn't fantastic. It was just there. I'm gonna be doing a new thing starting next year, and I will tell you in my last video of this year. So if you want to catch that, subscribe to my channel, give this video a like if you actually like it, and then comment down below the answer to the question of the week. And that question is, what movie are you looking forward to next year? Let me know in the comments down below. Thank you guys so much for watching. Have a great random Thursday. I will see you on the other side of the screen. Bye!